Bill Wilson did
Founder
discover,
of AA.
founder of AA, did found AA through a psychedelic experience. Um, why that doesn't resonate in that community, I don't understand. But
Well, maybe you could tell us the story.
yeah, tell us the
Yeah,
Bill
story.
Wilson.
happy to do that. So Bill Wilson, this is in the 1930s, and he was being overseen by Dr. William D. Silkworth at Towns Hospital. Towns Hospital was a nationally recognized hospital for the treatment of drug and alcohol addiction. And Dr. Silkworth was the chief physician there, and that's whose care Bill Wilson was under. And on it was either his third or fourth stay, probably his last one, but I don't know if it was three or four. So he was undergoing the belladonna treatment. And the belladonna treatment is several medicines, including Hellbane, belladonna, Blue Lotus was part of that protocol. And it's my understanding that that protocol lasted like 50 hours, and they would dose them every hour for 50 hours. And those medicines combined can be very powerful psychedelic medicines. And their intention was to bring about hallucinations and delirium. So it was in that experience on the belladonna treatment that he writes in his story in the big book that he was on the belladonna treatment, that he had this profound white light experience where he is standing on the mountaintop and the sunlight of the spirit is pouring through him. And he had these visions of his grandfather, who was a preacher, preaching on the hilltop. And it was in that vision that he had the vision of one alcoholic helping another alcoholic to bring about permanent recovery. And Alcoholics Anonymous has such rich history, and I won't go into it, but foundationally, it was it's sort of a spin-off of the Oxford groups and the 5 C's and the four absolutes and the all of this stuff. And Bill objected to a lot of the dogmatic nature of Jesus Christ and all of that. And so he wanted to make it a broader, more roomy fellowship for people. Anyway, AA was born literally out of a psychedelic trip. Now, fast forward 20 years, Bill has recovered from alcoholism and the fellowship is flourishing. And he still had a lifelong battle with debilitating depressive disorder, clinical depressive disorder. And he had recovered from alcoholism. He did not want to drink, but he was plagued by this depression. He was close friends with Gerald Hurd, who's a philosopher. They corresponded for many years and sort of became spiritual advisors for one another. Gerald was friends with Aldous Huxley, who wrote The Doors of Perception about his experience with mescaline. And they were sharing with Bill about the good work that these two doctors up in Canada were doing with LSD and the treatment of alcoholism. And at first, Bill Wilson was very skeptical about it, but over the course of time, they continued to let him know, give him updates on the results that these doctors were getting with this medicine. And Bill's perspective started to change, and he was willing to open his mind a little bit. And in August of 1956, Bill went to the LA VA hospital and had his very first LSD experience. And Bill, we know when it started. We don't know exactly when it ended, lasted 6 to 8 years, probably ended in a combination of things. He was getting a lot of backlash from trusted servants at the high level in AA and the war on drugs.